What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Disc Golf Nerd Plastic Podcast. More announcements in the realm of players moving around, switching teams. This offseason just won't slow down with it. I don't think we're done yet either. We're definitely going to see some new announcements. I'm sure we will see a formal announcement from Ricky right away after the first of the year. He essentially said that he's not going to release anything until his contract with Latitude is completely run out. Everybody knows he's leaving. We don't know where he's going. I mean, we know where he's going, but we don't officially know where he's going just yet. He hasn't formally announced anything. Out of respect for Latitude and the fact that they've had a multi-year relationship that's been mutually beneficial, and I think that's great. I have no problem with that at all. I can wait a little while longer for the official confirmation that he's going to Team Innova. But as I said on the last episode, I just don't see him going anywhere else. It doesn't really make any sense. He did a live stream recently trying to kind of offload some of the extra plastic that he's had now that he's no longer working with Latitude and playing for the team. He has a bunch of throwers that he's not going to be utilizing anymore, and also a bunch of stock from his website and different things like that from Latitude molded plastic. And he was trying to kind of, work through some of that extra stock to make room for new stuff and just bring in some extra funds. I see no problem with that. In fact, I'm so supportive of that, I may have bought something from Ricky for myself. So I'm looking forward to getting that. I'll show it off for you guys, at least on Instagram, if not here on YouTube. Once it shows up, should be a pretty cool addition to my kind of collection, I guess. During the live stream, somebody caught a screenshot of a box in the back of the van that happened to be an Innova box. Now, some people are coming out saying, oh, that's conclusive proof that he's moving to Innova. I don't think it's conclusive proof of anything. I think a first-year law student could talk their way through that. The mere presence of a box that happens to have an Innova logo on it doesn't mean anything other than that he had a box that has an Innova logo on it in his van somewhere. I mean, he had a bunch of boxes that are Trilogy branded as well. Does that mean he's going to Westside next year? But I mean, again, I have no doubt that he is going to Innova, but I don't think that's conclusive proof of anything. It's certainly a clue that we could look for. But yeah, I mean, it could be as simple as, oh, Innova sent me a box of stuff to check out because they were recording me and trying to bring me over to the team. So they said, here's some plastic to throw and see what you think of some of the newer stuff. It could be that simple, but again, it's probably some plastic from Innova because that's where he's going. I would bet just about anything at this point that that's what's going to happen. We will see a formal announcement in January. Speaking of Latitude 64, all of a sudden, they're kind of looking a little bit light on talent, on players. Devin Owens has announced he's leaving. Chandler Fry, great player from the Washington, Pacific Northwest area, he is no longer going to be working with Latitude 64 either. And we also saw Dave Feldberg move on from his sponsorship with Latitude as well. Now, Dave is a little bit of a unique case. Most of you know, he's running the Next Generation Tour. And for Next Gen, they want to bring in as many players as possible. And kind of with so much involvement from Latitude 64 for the first couple seasons, some players got the impression that it was like a Latitude tour and that it was focused around Trilogy players and all that kind of stuff, and that's not the case at all. We want everybody to play the Next Gen Tour. So it's kind of with that in mind that Dave feels as though it doesn't necessarily make sense for him to have a full disc golf sponsorship deal with one particular manufacturer as he tries to bring in as many players and as many different manufacturers to be involved with Next Gen Disc Golf as possible. I think that makes total sense, and it wasn't super surprising to see that for me, since I'm a little bit of an insider with Next Gen Tour, helping them out with their Instagram page, running their Instagram page, and also hopefully providing some YouTube content for Next Gen Disc Golf as well. I gotta make some stuff happen with that relatively soon. I have some ideas, looking to make some stuff happen with that coming up here in the spring. So all of a sudden, Latitude looking a little light on the players. I don't know if there's something going on or if they've just decided that maybe they want to kind of take a step back a little bit. They've spent a lot of money on player contracts and salaries and whatever else over the last few years. Maybe they want to kind of regroup and see how things go over the next couple years, try to add some more players then. They still have some good players. They still have Johnny McRae. They still have Emerson Keith. a young, very exciting, up-and-coming player who's played an ungodly amount of tournaments in the last couple years. I forget what more tournaments than there are weeks in the year, for sure, which is pretty impressive and kind of, blows my mind to think about. He also won the Veterans Park Open, beating Simon, Eagle, Nolan Greider, a bunch of other definitely high-profile players at that event. He had an absolutely insane round. I think the second round was just ridiculous. Go back and watch that Jomez coverage of that round. Just unbelievable. Several birdies in a row. Then he hits an ace. It's like, I think it was like 380 into a ripping headwind. Wide open shot. So people are like, oh, it's wide open shot. That's not that impressive. You know what it's like to try to dial in the exact distance to ace a hole when it's that wide open in a field like that? It's hard. It's tricky to gauge where the basket is. Then you couple that with a ripping 30-mile-an-hour headwind or whatever it was, 20-mile-an-hour headwind, and to skip it in like that, it was a pretty insane shot. So, yeah, look for big things from Emerson going forward. I'm not exactly sure who else is still on the team. I believe Bobby Music is still there. But yeah, they're looking a little light all of a sudden. We'll see. I'm hoping, I'm fairly certain we're still going to hear of a new signing from them before the season starts early in January, when a lot of the announcements happen at the turn of the new year. So we'll look forward to see what goes on there. This whole situation with Paul Mcbeth and with Ricky and high-profile players moving around, and then also Paul's building the bag video that came out that we'll go into in a second, made me wonder if these manufacturers are a little bit kicking themselves now that they didn't put out full in the bag videos over last season. As far as I know, we got no full Ricky in the bag last season, nor did we get a Paul in the bag last season either. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no doubt about it that in the bag videos sell plastic. They are very strong marketing tools as far as I'm concerned. Thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people will watch them, and it's very likely they will become interested in those discs and want to check them out because their favorite player is saying nice things about them and that they carry them in their bag. I think that is a big part of why teams bother sponsoring players in the first place, is to try to get more people to buy their plastic. So to not utilize a powerful marketing tool that everybody loves. I mean, I love an in the bag video. I'll watch in the bag videos with just amateur players, recreational players that I've never even heard of, just because I think it's interesting to see what everybody's carrying. That's how this whole channel got started, was an in the bag video. I was watching different players post them. I wanted to post one for myself, and that was how the ball got rolling with this entire channel. Now almost 600 videos, almost 200 reviews, and 6,000 subscribers later, I'm still rocking it. So that is one personal update I'd like to tell you guys about, is that if you haven't noticed, I have actually surpassed 6,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Pretty amazing stuff. That's also, I believe, I passed 5,000 this year as well within 2018. So that is also the first time I've gained over 1,000 subscribers within a year like that. Like I surpassed 5,000, then I surpassed 6,000, both within the same calendar year. I think that's pretty awesome. And yeah, I jumped right up until like 6,025 or 30 or so as of right now, and still climbing steadily, adding a few here and there. It's pretty amazing for sure. I know in terms of YouTube, it's not a lot of subscribers, really. You know, 6,000 isn't a very big number. Got to be some YouTube channels that have millions of subscribers. That being said, if you took 6,000 people and put them all in one room, or put them all in a field standing next to each other, what that would look like, that many people like what I put out here and the videos that I make here in my apartment in Portland, that much that they choose to subscribe to my channel and keep up to date with the stuff that I'm posting, means a lot to me. I think it's amazing, and I truly appreciate all of you very much. I would not continue to put the effort in to try to create content if people didn't support it as much as they do, and I appreciate all you guys. I feel like I have a really solid core fan base of people that are watching like all the stuff that I put out and are always really supportive, and I truly appreciate all of you. So thank you very much for your support, and I will continue to do my best to put out content that you guys find interesting and that you enjoy watching and listening to heading into this next year and beyond. So with that, let's talk about Paul's video with the Building the Bag series. It was released on Jomez. The first episode was just drivers. All right. I'm pretty underwhelmed by this video for a few reasons, to be perfectly honest with you guys. And I know it almost seems ridiculous for me, of all people, to like criticize a video that Jomez puts out because A, I'm like a giant supporter of them, and I think they're the most important team of people in our game right now. What's going on with the Disc Golf Pro Tour and the extreme likelihood that Jomez will not be involved in the Disc Golf Pro Tour is kind of breaking my heart. It's just a really unnecessary speed bump that I think is just slowing down a bunch of momentum. I think the Jomez and the Disc Golf Pro Tour are stronger together than they're going to be apart, and it frustrates me for sure. So yeah, I'm a huge supporter of Jomez. I think they're incredibly important for our game, but I was pretty underwhelmed by this video, and in a number of different ways. One, Paul definitely demonstrated he's not terribly familiar with the plastic, and I understand that that's part of the point, is that, hey, I'm trying, this is what the stuff that I'm trying, I'm working my way through it, this is the stuff that I'm kind of narrowing down. I like that aspect of it. I think it's cool, but for him to not at least do like one field session before the video to make sure that he's thrown all the stuff at least a few times, kind of knows what's going on with all the different molds that are going to be involved in the video. I don't think that's too much to ask. Some people took offense to the fact that there was slanted ground during the field demo portion as well. So he's kind of throwing slightly uphill, and then it slopes down at the end of the shot. That kind of gets back to my issue with field demos overall, and why I don't really feel like they're all that necessary or useful. Is A, it's Paul Mcbeth throwing it, so good luck duplicating that stuff. They're not going to fly the same way for you. You're not throwing them as clean as Paul Mcbeth, period. The bottom line is Paul Mcbeth is one of the absolute best players to ever play the game. You're not going to be able to exactly duplicate what he is able to do with a golf disc in the first place. Then you factor in the fact that there's wind that's affecting the way the discs look in flight. Then the sloped ground is affecting the way the discs look in flight. It all gets back to why I don't really feel like it's all that important to see it. It's only really showing what it's doing for him. That's cool and interesting. It doesn't translate to me whatsoever. I'm going to get a vastly different flight out of a nuke than Paul will, and that's just all there is to it. If I were to have any type of creative control over a video of this nature, I think I would have tried to do a lot more with it, or at least some more, at least a little bit more with it. We got one throw with each disc and one release angle because there was only one throw. So, I mean, would it have been, I don't think it would be a lot to ask that he threw it 2 or 3 times, maybe a steep hyzer, a flat shot, and an anhyzer release, maybe a couple of follow flights in there. I don't need any kind of drone shots. I don't really find those to be terribly useful. Personally, I'm just not into that. I like to just see a nice clean film of a disc, and zoom in as it flies away is absolutely crucial. But people who put out flight demos and they don't zoom in on the disc, I get very little from that as well. So it's just like, yeah, I think they did a good job filming it, and it was cool. It's having the impact that they wanted it to have, and the other graphics were cool. But yeah, no follow flights, one throw. I probably would have used just a big open flat field to really showcase the flight of the disc and its natural flight without any type of effect from the slope of the ground at all. But anyway, the video's out there. You guys can go check it out. You've probably already seen it. They went live with a premiere for it, and it picked up a huge number of live viewers when the premiere happened, because Jomez has such a massive subscriber base that when they hit that live, when the live notification popped up, a bunch of people jumped in to see what was going on, and it was like, I think, over 4,000 concurrent at one point, which is pretty intense. And all that's great. It's having the effect they wanted to. They're going to do the same thing with mid-ranges and putters as well. I think in January. We'll see how those go. I would like to see a little bit more, personally. That's all I'm saying. If I had access to Paul Mcbeth and Jomez, and I was going to put out a video of that nature, I would have made sure there was at least a couple of different release angles, with each disc, and I would have went for as flat and open of a surface as I could have. And I definitely would have strongly considered doing follow flights, like throw flat, show the throw itself, then do a follow flight for it as well. Why not? I mean, people love the follow flights. That's one of the best things about Jomez. I think that would have been pretty cool to see. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. That's just my opinion on it. We also have now seen that Paul Ulibarri has been announced as officially on Team Discraft. I don't think that happened when I last posted an episode, but it could have. I don't think so, though. It is now official. Paul Ulibarri. We got the 2-Paul double team going on from Discraft. And that's a pretty solid Discraft doubles team right there, Paul and Paul. That would be fun. And some of these different changes have been making me think about, like, it'd be really fun to do like a triples event that was separated by manufacturers' teams. That would be pretty awesome. Well, maybe I'll try to get back to that later. Paul Ulibarri, not only on Team Discraft, but also announced as the team captain of Team Discraft. Now, some people are saying, oh, does it make sense that he's coming onto the team and he's already the captain of the team? Yes, it makes sense that you make Paul Ulibarri the captain of your team. He's one of the most solid, long-term, just absolute professional disc golfers we have available in our sport. He's one of the most solid dudes we have. So yes, of course it makes sense for Paul to be in any type of leadership role. Apparently they're kind of grooming him to be a team manager as well, which would mean he was having more influence on signing players and making sure the players are well taken care of. Maybe that's something they're working towards as Paul maybe slows down with some of his play as he gets a little bit older. But Paul's still in his prime. He's throwing amazing shots. He had a great season last year. I think he's going to be just as good, if not better, this year. Maybe it'll kind of reinvigorate him to have some new plastic in the bag, freshen it up a little bit. And maybe we'll see Paul finally take down that big win that he's so deserving of. I think it's a great pickup for Discraft. Nothing but respect and appreciation for Paul Ulibarri. He's one of our most solid ambassadors, and I just appreciate having Uli as an ambassador for our game. And he's just a really solid professional representative of disc golf. So overall, I'm happy for the move. I'd love to see Uli putt with magnets. Maybe they'll get like a signature magnet of some kind for Uli. That would be awesome. I'd pick one up immediately to go straight in the bag. Another company that I think kind of blew it by not giving us an in the bag video in 2018 is Pro Discus. They had Kevin Jones. He was their guy. He's an up and coming player. He has all the talent you could possibly ask for. Arguably one of the best throwers of a putter we've ever seen in the sport of disc golf. Him and James Conrad throwing putters is just unbelievable. But Kevin has so much trust and ability throwing a putter. It's just insane. And then when he stretches it into a distance driver, he can throw as far as anyone else in the world. All the talent, all the skill, no promotion from Pro Discus. It's too late now. He's gone, and he's moving to Prodigy. I think it's a great move. My initial reaction was I was slightly disappointed he didn't go to DD. I think Dynamic Discs could really use a top tier talent like that. They have great players, no disrespect to any of them, but it would be awesome to see them have like a top 10 guy on Team DD, really out there pushing for big wins on the national circuit, Disc Golf Pro Tour, National Tour, Majors. He's a really incredible player. Would have been a huge pickup for DD, but I think it's a solid move for him to go to Prodigy. He seems happy with the move. It seems likely that we will see him at all of the national tours, all of the pro tours, and some majors. So I think it's likely that Prodigy, as part of his contract, is helping him with a lot of entry fees and travel expenses, and I think that's phenomenal. Be really exciting to see what Kevin can do this year. Ulibarri leaves Prodigy. They bring in Kevin Jones. And even though the perception may not align with the reality, Prodigy has a strong team right now. They have Kevin Jones, Dickerson, and Seppo as their kind of three marquee players right now. They also have Matt Oram, who regionally is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Incredibly high-rated player, tons of experience, and a really high-level player as well. Cam Colglazer's still on the squad. Will Schustrick. They have a huge presence in Europe that us here in the U.S. don't really see very much, but The Prodigy Europe is legit. With Seppo and his family, I believe, run that, or are heavily involved in that, and it's definitely pretty legit. They have some big players over there as well. So honestly, Prodigy looking pretty strong all of a sudden. So it gets me back to thinking about the a triples tournament. How fun would this be, right? Triples, best shot or alternate shot. Maybe do both, like best shot triples and kind of alternating shot triples. You have, hypothetically, Team Innova, Germ, Nate Sexton, and Rick. That would be pretty awesome if Rick goes there, which I think he's going to. Then for Discraft, you could have like Doss and the two Pauls. That would be pretty awesome. That would be really fun for sure. Dickerson, Seppo, and Kevin Jones for Prodigy. Something like that would be so fun to see. That would be a really fun event. DD have Melton, Oakley, and AJ Risley. Yeah, it would just be really fun to see. I would love to see that kind of thing. I actually sent Steve Dodge an email saying, like, it would be really fun to have like a special edition or a special format event as part of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I think people would love that. Tell me, as a fan of disc golf, you wouldn't love to see a straight up best shot, bring your own partners, doubles, Disc Golf Pro Tour event. On the Disc Golf Pro Tour, same payouts, same media, same everything. Straight up, bring your best partner. Straight up best shot doubles event. Pick a really hard course. That would be so much fun to see Big Sexy team, or Paul and Paul. Just Ricky and Drew Gibson, Simon and Eagle. It'd just be so much fun. I would love to see that. So who knows if that'll ever happen, but I would like to see that very much. The announcement video for Kevin going over to Prodigy I thought was very well done. They did like a teaser one where he's kind of in the shadows. I could tell it was him by the putting form because I'm a geek like that, and I kind of knew anyway just because I don't know who else it would have been. It wasn't really that surprising. When they announced it, I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty much what I figured. And I think most people would agree that it was pretty obvious it was going to be Kevin Jones. All in all, I think it's a solid pickup. He'll have plenty of good plastic to pick from. And, yeah, this will be the last time you guys will have to hear me complain about Pro Discus just completely failing to do any type of media or get any exposure for themselves and for Kevin Jones by putting any effort whatsoever into doing any of those type of things. Disc reviews, in the bag videos, instructional content, nothing. We got absolutely nothing. Hopefully we'll see plenty of that from Prodigy. And honestly, Prodigy announced, they released their announcement video, and then they also released another video with Kevin in the factory kind of going through some plastic, loading up a bag, a BP1 bag. They didn't really talk about it. It was just kind of, they just showed it happening while they talked about stuff and interviewed Kevin. Asked him some questions, asked him about a few discs that he's already had a chance to test and some of his plans, why he came to Prodigy, that sort of thing. I thought it was nice. Get to know Kevin a little bit. And with that one video, they've already done more to get Kevin's name out there than Pro Discus did the entire time that he was on the team. And if they wanted or had any like hope to hold on to him, maybe they would have put some effort into it. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But it's over now. Nobody cares anymore. He's not throwing their plastic, and the ship has sailed. So they're not going to get anything from any kind of buzz or hype about any of their molds because of Kevin Jones anymore, because he's not there anymore. And what are you going to do? That'll be the last time you guys have to hear me complain about that. It just doesn't make any sense. Very strange. All right. Moving on from there. What else do I have to talk to you guys about? I'm not sure I have a whole lot. Finally, for this episode, one thing I'm really hoping to see, and I think we will see it, because it would just be so dumb not to see it happen straight away heading into next year and beyond, would be for Discraft to revive the old Discraft Clinic series. If there's anything we've learned from Dynamic Discs over the last few years and their approach to building their brand, it is that when you help players, when you put out content that is helping people and helping newer players and players in general better their game and have more fun out there, throw better shots, you build a loyal fan base that will stick with you and support you. I know people personally that throw dynamic discs plastic because they were helped by things like the Disc Golf Answer Man and the instructional content that they put out there to help the disc golf community. One of the reasons why I've been such a big supporter of Discraft over the years, and I've been carrying Discraft steadily for basically my entire throwing career. I don't think I've ever had a period where I didn't have Discraft in my bag. I have had times where I only had Discraft in my bag, but I've never gone without it since I started playing, and part of that reason is because when I started, they had the old Discraft clinic videos. Paul Ulibarri was in a few of those when he was young and still on Team Discraft. It was the jump putting video, distance clinic. They had one on Anheuser shots. I think they had a forehand one, overhand shots, big germ, distance tips. The one with Marty Peters where he teaches guys how to kind of tweak their form to add extra distance. The one with Dion Arlen for max distance. All those videos I found to be really helpful when I was starting out. And since they took the time to produce the content that I found helpful, that helped me out as a new player, and they were the only ones really doing it at the time, I became loyal to them, and I tried out a lot of their plastic based on that content. Another thing that made me try a lot of the plastic was in the bag videos. I've seen Eric McCabe's 2010 in the bag video so many times, it's stupid, and I've definitely tried discs based on his recommendation in those videos. So I know we're going to see in the bag videos, the sooner we get full, this is what I am carrying in the bag videos from Paul Mcbeth and Paul Ulibarri, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I think if Discraft isn't kind of pushing them to say, hey, as soon as you feel like you're dialed in, let's get this in the bag video out there as soon as possible. If they're not thinking that, I don't know what they are thinking. They spent a ton of money on Paul Mcbeth alone, and if they want to see a return on that, which I think it's likely based on on the initial response that they will, they need to milk it for all it's worth. Put out those in the bag videos and put out the instructional content. You have two of the best to ever play the game on your team now. Add in Nate Doss and Val and all the other players that they have. Andrew Fish, incredibly knowledgeable, talented player who's extremely effective and very creative and just a really fun player. He has tons of stuff you can learn from him alone. Michael Joe, all those different players, they should be tapping into that. Use that. Teach us how to get better and showcase your plastic while you do it, and you will see your fan base grow. We've seen it from Dynamic Discs. I've experienced it personally with Discraft, and I think it makes all the sense in the world. So I think that's going to happen. I think that's part of the impact that I have had here on YouTube, and part of the reason why I've kind of built a fan base is that a lot of my videos are focused around helping people. I know some people might think that a lot of my reviews and stuff just look like commercials or whatever. I'm positive because I want to help the manufacturers get their products out there, because I think I like that. I like to be helpful to people in general. And I'm also positive about a lot of the stuff that I review because it is good, and I try to focus the good aspects of it that you might connect with as a thrower and help you find a disc that's going to work out well for you. So I focus on the positive aspects of it, because when you're talking about a disc golf disc, there's not really negatives to them so much. You may not like the way they feel, you may not like the way they fly personally, but they really just have attributes. It's not like a disc is necessarily good or bad. They kind of just have attributes, and maybe that attribute works well and provides the shot or the feel that you're looking for, or it doesn't. That doesn't make it a good or a bad disc. It's just a disc. It is what it is, and either it works for what you want it for or it doesn't. So I kind of just talk about what it does, the attributes of it. If I ever test a disc and I think it's just really terrible, or I just really can't get a feel for it, I just won't review it. That's only happened a handful of times over the literally hundreds of discs that I've tried to test and review. I'm creeping up on 200 reviews here on YouTube. I, of course, have not reviewed every disc I've ever thrown, so I've tested well over 200 at this point in my career. And only a few of them were just like so kind of blah, or I just had so much trouble connecting with them that I didn't bring them to review. Very, very few. So, again, they really have attributes. Whether or not that works well for you, that's pretty much the whole point to that. But the other thing that I've hopefully been successful with, and I have some evidence to support that I have based on comments and people letting me know. My basic kind of beginner instructional content. That was the stuff that I wanted to create. And I'm hoping to come up with new ideas all the time, but it's getting harder now since I've put a lot of those videos out to come up with new ways to approach that. But early on, that was the focus. The reviews became a thing for me because I had people subscribing to my channel, and I wanted to be able to regularly put out content, and there's always a new disc for me to test and review and put out a video on. So that's kind of where that all came from. Now I've almost flipped around and become more known for the reviews just because I've done so many of them, and with the help and support of people like Johnny V from Smashbox bringing me in, helping me get exposure. Another amazing thing that happened for me this year was that I had some reviews featured on the Disc Golf Pro Tour live broadcasts. I don't believe that will happen again next year, but I was honored to be involved with it this year. That was really cool, and a total trip to see and my logo and hear my voice pop up. I think the first time was Ledgestone. Ricky Wysocki, my favorite player, on the broadcast throws over the pond on 13, and we're gonna cut away and we'll bring you the shots from the fairway, whatever Terry said after these words from our sponsor, and boom, here comes my segment. My logo pops up. There's my voice. There's Andy throwing the disc. Everybody on the chat board thought Andy was me, which is kind of funny as well. And just a total trip, man. It was really cool. And I still get a real kick out of being involved with Smashbox. I'm absolutely honored to do that. And it's been great. So that's kind of become what I'm a little bit more known for. But the point of all this is that if you want to connect with people and you want to build loyalty with a fan base of people, help them out. And if they feel like you're helping them, they're much more likely to stick with you. So I think Discraft would be absolutely foolish to not tap into all of the knowledge and experience that they have available to them on their team right now, revive the old Discraft Clinic series, and bring in a whole new set of players to their brand. There are so many players that have come into the game in the last few years when Discraft really has not been very relevant. Let's be honest, we've seen no in the bag videos, we've seen no content from them whatsoever over the last 5 or so years. Just within the last year, we've seen some of the stuff creep in, good in the bag videos with a few players, Austin Turner and Trevor Harbolt and Tim Barham. You know, we've seen a few of those in the bags pop up, and that's great. They put out that really, really well-made review of the Heat. That's one of the best disc golf commercials / review videos I've ever seen. The production quality of that Heat review is just phenomenal. So I want to see a lot more of that from them, and I think we will. Again, if they don't milk Paul Mcbeth for everything they can, based on the amount of money he's getting from them, I think it would just be absolutely foolish, and I have no doubt that we will see that. It's funny, I actually had a gentleman reach out to me recently for advice. He's trying to get more exposure for his daughter as a disc golfer, kind of get her name out there, and he was kind of asking me some questions and stuff, and we were just kind of kicking around ideas, I guess, more or less, and that was one of the things I said is just, put out the content and keep it consistent, keep it coming, just keep with it. A lot of times you see channels pop up, and they're all raring to go, they're ready, they put out content for a while, and then it drops off. Maybe it could be a number of different reasons. Maybe they don't get the response they're looking for, maybe they run out of time, maybe they just change their mind, maybe they again, they just don't really get the momentum they were looking for, and they lose interest. I don't know, but I do know that I think one of the things that I've done that's made me kind of continue to grow to the level that I keep growing and steadily kind of adding subs here and there, and trickling up over 5,000, now over 6,000 subscribers, is I just keep putting out content. I'm just going to keep putting it out there, showing up, and seeing what happens. I don't have a lot of expectations. I just kind of throw it out there and see where it goes. So put out the content and be consistent about putting it out there, and it will pick up steam if you stick with it. That's really one of the best things I could tell you, is just keep at it. Don't give up, and just keep going. And another thing I told him is that if she has anything to teach to other junior players, or tips for juniors or anything along those lines, put that stuff out there. Because again, just like we just talked about, If you help people, they become loyal to you, they appreciate you more, and it builds that kind of almost like a more of a personal connection with people than if you're just trying to sell them stuff or something like that. You know what I mean? So it works out well, and it's all win-win. You get to help people, you also get to build what you're trying to build, and there's no downsides to it. It's really an all-win scenario. So I love it, and I will continue to do my best to try to get you guys instructional content and informational content as the years go on here. If you have any ideas for videos that I can make for that, always feel free to let me know. If there's a concept you're struggling with that I haven't touched on the channel, kind of in my informational style, don't ask me to go out there and try to show you guys perfect form or anything like that. I've always said that I'm not going to ever try to teach people how to throw. If I can connect with like a really high level player, that somebody who has legitimate form and really knows what they're talking about and doing, and I can bring them in to help me, sure. But I'm not going to go teach you guys how to throw. I mean, you could go to somebody super credible like Will Schustrick in disc golf instruction and learn how to throw from him. I mean, why would you? Yeah, there's no point in learning to throw from a guy like me. But I do understand the game. I am a nerd for it, quite literally. I geek out on disc golf all the time. I've been around it for a long time. I've seen a lot of different things. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how the game works, and I usually feel pretty confident with the subjects that I try to teach for you guys. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I truly appreciate all the support from everybody who watches my videos, follows me on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. You guys are great. I've said it before. You guys are my disc golf community. You mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you very much. I truly hope you have a very happy, healthy holiday season with your family and the people that you care about. If you don't have somebody in your life that you can spend that time with this holiday season, reach out. You have social media now. There are communities that you can connect with, and you have more access than ever to have that chance to make a connection with somebody, even if you don't get to meet them in person and it's just a long distance thing through the internet. It's still better to have somebody that you can contact, that you can keep in touch with. I have friends that I've kind of met through the channel and stuff that I basically exclusively keep contact with through the internet, and that's great. I still value having those people in my life, so you don't have to feel like you are alone this holiday season. Reach out to somebody, try to make a connection, and if you have people in your life that you care about, friends and family, try to spend some good time with them. You never know how much of it you're going to get to spend. All right, much love to everybody out there. I appreciate you very much. Let me know if you have anything you'd like to see from me going into the next year. I'll probably come back with you guys and do a kind of a year-end award ceremony showcasing some of the shots and different moments that I really liked over this year, 2018. I also, last night on Smashbox, Terry had kind of thrown out there, hey, what if you did like a year-end disc video, like what are your favorite discs of the year? So I was kind of looking back through all the different discs I've reviewed this year. There's not really that many, actually. It's been a relatively busy year, and trying to include flight footage has slowed me down considerably, but still definitely tested some solid molds this year, and I think I've picked out the ones that I want to showcase. I might actually start looking to see if I can find some of that footage and cut that together for you guys, let you know my favorite putter, mid-range, fairway, and distance driver for the year. Okay, my voice is giving out. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.